open world games. Subscribe today on YouTube and visit us at openworldgames.com.
Hello there again, my fellow agents. What's up? It's Robbie with Open World Games, and I am back from E3 2015 with all new information about The Division. I actually had hands-on time with it, guys. I've played Tom Clancy The Division, which is just so awesome to finally get to experience the game. So as always, ask those questions in the comments below, because I will definitely be answering them in upcoming videos. But this video is really special because I got to sit down with the game designer on Tom Clancy's The Division and ask him your questions. You guys submitted a ton of questions. Since this video might be a little bit long, go ahead and use that video guide in the description below. You can skip ahead to the details you seek by doing that. Oh, but before we begin, I've got beta codes for Tom Clancy The Division. A giveaway will be coming up, so you guys can anticipate that. And yes, I will be giving away copies of the game. I'm not too sure how many I can pull off for you guys, but you can expect that as well. But in this video, I got to team up with a new friend, Patrick from Division Australia. He also covers The Division. You can find all of his info in the description below, so be sure to check out his content as well. But guys, here we go. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the interview. Hello, my fellow agents. What's up? It's Robbie with Open World Games, and I'm joined with...
Hey guys, my name is Patrick. I'm from the Division Australia.
And I'm here with the game director of Tom Clancy The Division, Ryan Bernard.
Hello.
And we've got a bunch of questions from you guys, the community. We're going to start right out. Okay, so how randomized are the encounters in the Dark Zone?
It's a good question. I guess if they're asking how randomized are the archetypes of the enemies, that's very randomized. So the enemies, if you watch the demo like today, where the Megan was calling out, "Oh, I've got a rusher, a sniper in the back." There's several archetypes to each faction in the game, and those are absolutely randomized, but the factions themselves kind of are in areas for a reason, so that's not so much randomized, besides the roamers that might come through certain areas.
So next question I want to ask is, are the loot drops shared or just for the individual by themselves?
Yeah, so loot in the Division is what we call personal loot in the open world. So when you take down some enemies and something drops, that's for you, and not the other members of the group. They don't see it. However, in the Dark Zone, which is a public space, that changes. So loot is then shared. So the first person to loot it would loot it. But it's also contaminated if you were watching the demo. So you need to extract it before you can equip it.
Okay.
Here's a good one. It is, will we be able to explore an entire skyscraper from bottom to top?
Yes, exploration. So inside of buildings and underground areas are important in the game. We're also building a game that we want to run. So I can say that you will not be exploring a skyscraper from top to bottom, but there will be tons of interiors for you to explore, tons of underground for you to explore.
Okay, great.
Awesome. Okay. So my question is, does the Dark Zone include any underground or sewer systems?
It does include underground, and just depends on what you classify. Not the classic sewer system, like from movies and where the alligators are down there in New York. So not so much that, but definitely underground areas for you to explore.
Okay, cool.
Okay, great. All right, here's one. It is, are civilians and vendors located in the Dark Zone, or is this strictly just in the base of operations?
Ah, another good question. You guys got some good ones.
I try to think.
So the civilians, so the Dark Zone, the purpose of the Dark Zone was actually to bring the quarantined, the sick people originally when they were trying to contain the virus, the outbreak. So not a very civilian-friendly environment. So you don't run into a lot of civilians in the Dark Zone when they were locking it down. But since the Division has locked it down and set up the wall originally with the JTF, we do have vendors that you might find throughout the Dark Zone that work alongside your Dark Zone rank.
Oh, okay, cool.
Can we expect any unscripted public events during the gameplay?
That is on my. I absolutely am not talking about list for this E3. So,
Okay.
We're very aware that it's a public space. You can play alongside groups of other agents, which you do in the demo.
Yep.
But the extent of how public events work, or that kind of thing, we're not talking about right now.
All right, cool.
Okay, cool. We tried.
Yes. Sorry, guys and gals.
Okay, so what other game modes can we expect in the Dark Zones?
Yeah, sure. I mean, the Dark Zone, the way to think about it, or when you describe it with your friends, or when you're talking about the game, is it's not a different game that you're going into. It's you still have missions, you still have solo content, you still have group-oriented type content with elite enemies. You still have scavenging things that you can come across in the Dark Zone. So it's not a different type of game mode, but inside the Dark Zone, PvP is enabled. So absolutely, you have the same type of activities that you do out in the open world in your co-op space inside the Dark Zone.
Okay, cool.
All right, so we got a fan question here from Black Hollywood. I hope I pronounced his name correctly. He asks, what can we expect the maximum number of people to be in the PvP area?
Yes, so we get this one a lot. The demo, like you guys played today, we did for a specific purpose. We wanted to introduce people quickly into the Dark Zone, so that was 9 players in one extraction area. We don't worry about numbers so much as the feeling and the gameplay that we're looking for in the size of the Dark Zone. So we do have a number that's in the game, but that is constantly in flux. And as we get closer to beta and we get more and more hundreds of thousands of players in, and we can start seeing what is the right formula, we can adjust that very, very easily. Because if I give you a number here, or I say a number, there, then it's like, why did this change? So
yeah, fair enough.
It's something that we tune a lot, and we want the feeling and the gameplay to be right, not more than just a number.
Yep, fair enough.
Okay, this one comes from Paco Maker 1, who says, will you be able to fully customize your character? For example, customize and mold your face to your liking.
Well, we got we got this one a little bit earlier as well. Customization in an RPG is really important. We want you to get attached to your agent, but we also are not going to the extent of some of the other RPGs with nose and ears, and you can select your sex, you can select your skin tone, you can get some tattoos, some markings. And that's about it for the facial and body type setups. You can also choose your clothing setup, your vanity kind of, your look of your agent before you start getting all this gear stacked on top of it. So in that way, it is very customizable, but we don't go really crazy with the funny looking old heavy models.
Okay, that makes sense.
So besides fighting the cleaners, can we expect to fight any other factions within the game?
Yes, we had a new reveal this year with the Rikers, which is a gang from Rikers Prison, which is pretty much just blown into Manhattan and taking advantage of the chaos and trying to kind of control the area. And as we keep getting closer to launch, you'll keep learning about new enemies as we have in the game.
Okay, awesome.
Cam Colson goes on to ask, in the Division, will there be long loading screens, or will there be no loading screens?
So we try to eliminate loading screens as much as possible.
Okay.
So that is a mantra. But when you respawn, like you saw right now, there's a short loading screen. There may be areas where we do have loading screens, but as a rule, we are trying to get rid of as many loading screens as possible.
Well, that sounds good.
Okay, so my question is, can you join a group that possibly that has the option to not betray within the Dark Zone, or can I disable it myself? I'm trying to join.
Yeah, that's another good question. It's come up a lot with the demo we had and seeing what can happen now in the Dark Zone. And again, I'll go back to where we have a big beta coming, we have more people playing, and currently there are no plans for those mechanics. But if we ourselves or we see the beta community really not enjoying certain aspects of the game, we can look at making adjustments. So I believe that the less you constrict players, and,
Yep.
and we believe the less you constrict players with mechanics,
Yep.
the more fun it can be. Players make their own rules, you
Yep.
know, like a lot of times in these games. So we don't know for sure exactly where we'll end up at for launch. But,
Okay, cool.
But right now, there's no plans for that.
Okay, cool.
This one's very good. Okay. It is from Audi Surcharge, who says, what is the max squad size? Will there be content that requires raid-sized parties?
Okay, yes, good question. So the max group size is 4. So which hasn't changed. You know, we do have 3 in the demo, but that's for the purpose of the demo that we have this year.
Okay.
But that has not changed. 4 is the max group size, and then raid content. Again, we are not talking about our public events and the raid and the end game to specifics yet, but we're building a game that we want players to play for thousands of hours. It's about progression. It's about items and loot. So we are very, very invested in having good activities for you to do once you're max level and have put all this time into your agent.
All right.
So I just wanted to also ask, will there be aim assist or auto aim, or can you even turn it off, you know, if you wanted to?
Sure. There is aim assist right now. You guys were playing with it
Yep.
today. So it's very subtle. We try to make it natural, make it a little bit different for the different weapons.
Yep.
And it's like a nudge, you know. But any shooter, when you have control, the console controls involved, you need to look at how do you do the aim assist to make it to help compensate for no keyboard and mouse. And then on the PC version, the balance and the 3 C's, as we call it, is very different. Then you balance it for a keyboard and mouse PC game
Yeah.
with a lot less heavy-handed aim assist and those
Okay,
kind of things.
awesome.
So how will weather and the day and night cycle affect actual gameplay?
It affects basically the environment and the content that's there. So depending on the time of day, depending on the weather system, sometimes enemy factions will go inside, you know, disappear, move to a different area. It changes the audio or the audible range that they can detect you as an enemy type from day and night and from the weather type, so you can maybe get into a better position to take them out early.
Okay.
Those kind of things. So that's how the day and night cycle really affects the content. It doesn't completely change it, but it really, really alters it.
Because I love day and night cycles.
Yes, it's very cool. We all do.
Yeah.
That's it. So how large can we expect the map to be actually? For example, how long does it take to cross on foot?
Yeah, that's another great question that I can't answer right now. So,
That's fair enough.
The game is big, and we know that we have to support a certain amount of level progression, a certain amount of players, but we want to keep the fidelity that you see in the demo. We want to keep the realism that you see in the demo. So, again, it's another one of those things that as we get closer to beta and launch, that stuff will come out.
So how long would it take to experience all of the content of the game? Like how long?
It's another one of those things where I like to. There's a certain game. We're not supposed to talk about different games, when we talk. But an RPG game that you can go through the main storyline if that's what you so choose to do in, let's say, 11 hours. And that same exact game, you can play all of the content in like 340 hours. So I think that it's an impossible question to answer. It's a great question, but it's an impossible question to answer. Everyone is different. Everyone will play different types of things. Some people will go into the dark, some won't. Some will follow the main storyline. Some will just go wherever they want. So there's no way I can answer that, but we are trying to put in as much content as possible and support this nice progression towards the maximum level in the game.
All right, cool.
So we've got a fan question here from Lucky X360 asking, how much destruction will there be, and to what extent, small or large?
Yeah, it's another good question. Destruction is important for us. I mean, the engine, Snowdrop, the proprietary engine we're building the game with, it makes beautiful destruction. Extremely realistic. You've seen that. It's not just in demos. It's in the game. The game you were playing today. Of course, not everything is destructible. It's again a lot like the building question. You know, that we want to make as many things destructible as make sense, as good for performance as well as gameplay. So many things of the game or in the game are destructible, but I don't have a percentage or a ratio or a number. But again, it's when it makes sense and as much as the game needs to support.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Just want to also, so for those who possibly maybe missed that, when is the release date and also what it's releasing on and any betas and like that?
Sure. So the game, Tom Clancy's The Division, is going to be released on March 8th, 2016, and it's out for Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and PC. And then ahead of that, if you have an Xbox One, you can get into the beta in December if you pre-order the game, or if you go to the website, you can enter, I guess it's like a raffle to potentially win a slot. And then for PlayStation 4 and PC, it'll be right at the start of next year. We'll be getting into those betas.
Okay, awesome. I think that's everything we've asked.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
So I just want to thank you on behalf of myself and Robbie, and thank you for the time for the interview.
No problem. Thank you guys. Thank you guys.
And we'll see you guys in New York.
See you later.
Yeah.
So there you have it, fellow agents. A very special thanks to Ubisoft and Ryan Bernard for sitting down and taking the time out to talk with us. It was late at night. Couldn't believe they actually did it for us, so I really appreciate it. I had a blast at the Uplay Lounge, trying out all of the amazing Ubisoft titles that were revealed. I mean, it was crazy this year for Ubisoft. I think you guys would agree with some of the reveals that Ubisoft really, in a way, took the show. But yeah, you can expect extensive coverage of The Division here shortly. There's new information I have. I can't wait to get it to you guys. There's going to be extensive videos of The Division and even Ghost Recon Wildlands. I've got stuff from E3 that I have yet to show you guys. And also, remember, yes, we are going to be doing a beta code giveaway. It's going to be awesome, so look forward to that. Stay tuned here to Open World Games for details on how to enter. I'm wanting to do something special for that. I will arrange it very soon. But guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.
And much higher damage output. So our group here is going to really have to work together using their weapons and skills to take them out. Of course, they drop much better loot and give a lot higher experience. We got Ryan, seems to have moved up to a kind of a bad cover position here. He's taking damage from the right, and he's got a grenade coming in. He needs to move, and he's too slow. So he's going to need to top himself off with a nice self-heal. Alright, so now we've dealt with the cleaners and we can move on towards the extraction area. But it looks like our group is not alone, and another group of players is in the same extraction area. In the Dark Zone, it's very important to find out players.